again. It's time to have a look at this gearbox. Whenever I was finally driving the car, well, the last few months of driving it, the gear stick, the gear change felt a bit sloppy on it, so I've narrowed it down to the cradle being loose on the back. So whenever you go to change gear, it's just wobbling about instead of actually doing anything. So I need to take this apart and have a wee look and see what the crack is. While I'm in here, the reverse light never worked on the last setup. So a friend of mine who built the box in the first place into the hybrid gave me a new reverse switch with just a 2-pin, which I can lop off and put a super seal or something on to match the connector. At the minute, this one here has a plug on it, which I didn't have. So if you're interested in getting a hybrid done, give me a shout. A friend of mine does them and he's very good at it, so yeah, give me a shout if you're looking at done. So put you in touch with him. So anyway, onwards, it's time to get this thing stripped apart and go from there. I've already prized this clip up out because I wasn't sure how it came apart, so that just pulls out and then that leaves the gear selector dangling. Polybush kit for the cradle mount. Not that it's doing much good at the minute, but I think that should be it. I think it's just held on with these two and then the pivot, and obviously the two rubber dudes that are loose in the first place. So I was going to take this all apart and powder coat it all this bracketry and stuff, but to be truthful, I think it's a wee bit far. The only person that ever sees in there is the MOT man. Good guess, first time. In fact, let's take these out. If they've rattled loose once, they'll probably rattle loose again, so we'll Loctite them, I think, this time. Turns out underneath all the oil it was actually painted, so I cleaned it up. However, before we start bolting that back on, I've just noticed a few things. First of all, I haven't actually explained what I've done with the gearbox. A lot of people use the rubber donut setup that came on the Sierras and stuff for the back of these. A not so common conversion that I've done is that you use a 6-bolt, I think it's 6-bolt, 6-bolt flange of a Smiley Face Transit MT75 box. You then send your prop off. I sent mine to, I think it was Dave Mac Props I sent mine to over in England. And they know the conversion, they've done it a couple of times now, and they're able to supply a proper flange that bolts on. It only has 4 holes in it, but it lines up with 4 of the 6 in the Smiley flange. However, I've just realised that my yoke, hang on to get a light, is fouling on the spigot, which I never cut down. So it's not much good as a universal joint if that's all the movement it has in it. So I'm going to take it apart here. I think from memory these threads were tight as anything, so I hope I don't wreck anything. I do have a habit of doing that recently. My alternator that I was nicely powder coating in the last episode, whenever I went to put the last touches on it, managed to shear the threads off it just before anybody else, aka Jordan, mentions it in the comments. Of another alternator coming, so off a friend of mine, and he offered it to me. Only had to pay postage, so it was very generous. Thank you very much, Matthew, for that. So anyway, I'm going to try and get this buzzed off. From memory, it's a spanner job because I can't get a socket on with these, so not looking forward to it because they are tight. So I'll do that next and trim a bit off the spigot shaft, then start changing reverse light switches and all that carry on. So here we go.
please. I need a shot and I'm begging on my knees.
So that's that finally off. You can see I have marked on there with the green marker where I think I need to come off to. So I'll lop it off here and see if that's any better. I've marked it short of where I think it should be really. I'd rather take too little off than take too much off, so see how it's gonna go. Much better. Now the bottom's out on the corner of the yoke instead of that, so I will probably fire these back together now. The threads actually were okay in that bolt that came out, thankfully, but I'm going to put it back into the same hole it came out of just to make sure I don't wreck anything else. Much better. Now then. Suppose I could put this cradle back on for the reverse switch. Well, I decided against leaving it as it was. Decided the mantra of it'll be right, do rightly wasn't for me anymore. Okay, so while I'm waiting on the paint or the primer to dry on that cradle mount, I'm going to try and work out how the flip of this thing works. I've never taken one of these apart before, so we'll soon see.
Bring you pain is my new addiction.
was handier than thought. On the other hand, if anyone needs one of these bad boys, let me know. I think that's really it. The gearbox bar, putting this cradle back on. You can see maybe the way I have fixed the pivot pin in. So I've adapted it to work with the release arm. Basically, I put a 17mm or an M10 threaded bar or a bolt through, and I'm just going to take this out. Screwed that into the, I think I tapped that from memory, and then screwed that into the bell housing, and put 2 lock nuts on it on this side, and then in theory that has extended the pivot arm out by 12mm. Instead of sitting flush away in there, it sits out here now. So that means you can use a standard release bearing instead of having to get a 12mm thicker release bearing, which I think I do actually have somewhere because I bought and then still extended it. And the first time round, I fitted the release bearing and the extension and wondered why I had no clutch. So yeah, good work there. But anyway, that's all I can do for now. This is drying, as you can see. So once I get a couple of coats of black on that, I'll fire this back together, get the gearbox operational again. I think this is the quick shift here. Again, I didn't build the box, my friend did. But I think that's a quick shift fitted as well as the poly bushes and the transit flange and all that carry on. So overall, it's a very good job, I have to say. None of this worrying about putting big power through a rubber donut. So smiley 6-hole flange off a transit is what you need. So anyway, next bit, hopefully this should be going back on. Then I think that's the box ready to go. You can also see my crudely adapted cross member to adapt the MT75 fit into the Capri. It was just a couple of bits of flat bar welded onto the standard mount, so it does the job. That's all I need. Okay, so as you saw me very badly sticking the fitting on the last time, it's now time to get this sump painted. I have it all cleaned out on the inside just to make sure there's no metal filings in it, left from the drilling of the holes into the returns. I have it all cleaned down and tried to clean up the scuff marks the best I could with the file. So it's time for me to hit this a dig with the primer and go from there. As you can see, I've got all my bits back from Protective and Performance Coatings down in Cork, and unbelievable. They are excellent, I have to say. The burnt bronze was a brilliant choice. It's not too in your face, so I'm loving it really. The turbos were done, or the exhaust side was done in black. I think it's Glacier Cerakote, I'm not entirely sure. Philip can maybe keep me right on that. But you can agree it is a far better job than the just doing them in VHT paint from Halfords or the likes. Yeah, over the moon. So the next stage is going to be to get these turbos and stuff all built back up, and see what they look like all done, and with the turbines and stuff in them again. The ceramic coating wise, if anyone needs anything done, send me a message or send Philip a message at Performance and Protective Coatings. I'll put the link in my description of the video. He's not expensive, he really isn't, compared to a lot of the other ones out there, and you can see yourself how good of a job it is. So yeah, the next stage, as I said, I will try and build these turbos up and go from there. So there you have it. Turbo's all back together, and I'm sure you can agree they look 10 times better than what once did. The coating is an absolutely brilliant job. Thanks again, Philip, for doing that for me. It's much appreciated. The links again, as I say, are in my description for the video. So if you want to pop on over and have a wee look at his page, or if you need anything done, send me a message and I'll pass it on. Yeah, that's probably going to do me for this one, folks. If you haven't noticed already by this stage in the episode, Xpack still isn't painted. I'm going down on Monday evening to mask it all up to get it ready for paint. Just one thing after the other, but nothing can be done, can't be helped. So it's time to get this done this week, hopefully. I know I've been saying that for a while, but hopefully get it done this week anyway, and get the project rolling again. Literally get her home and get all the running gear stripped out of her, get the engine stuff put in. So looking forward to it, cannot wait in fact. But as I said, that'll do me for this one, folks. I forgot to show you, I think the sump done. It's done now in shiny silver. So probably some of the next ones I'll be rebuilding the Cosy. I'm going to fire everything on with new gaskets and get everything built on, basically ready to set in for whenever the car does come back. So if you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button and the wee bell beside it to get notified of any new videos put up. Take a wee look over at my social media. Those should be popping up at some stage now, and there's a bit more activity on there. I'm going to try and do a bit more in the communities tab on YouTube to see if anybody's interested in that, just brief updates. And yeah, thanks for watching as always. You're brilliant. Bye.